Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Design with Roosevelt. Continuing with CSWA practice problems, today we'll work on question 5.4. Let's take a look at this question. So in this question, unit of measurement is millimeter gram second. Like always, we need to ensure we are using the same unit of measurement in SolidWorks setting. Now, looking at this geometry, we can see that we have the top view, we can view AA, we have detail C, we have view BB. My preference is to focus on the top view. As you can see, there is a base of the geometry. So from the top view, I can focus on this geometry. I can make a 2D sketch and extrude that to make the base of the geometry. Then, in order to make these two features, I can simply use a plane. Like the previous video, we're going to make two planes and then we're going to sketch something on those planes, and then we're going to extrude those features to make the final geometry. So with this introduction, let's jump into SolidWorks and start modeling this part. In SolidWorks, first thing first, we need to check unit of measurement, and you can see that we have millimeter gram second, which is a correct unit of measurement. Now, in order to make the geometry, we can click on sketch, we can choose sketch command, and I'm going to choose top plane. Looking at the top view, we need a hole in the center of the geometry, so I can click on circle command, and then here I'm going to make a circle. Now, we need an arc shape here, so what I can do, I can click on arc command, and then here I'm going to make an arc shape, something like this. We also need two more holes in the corner of the geometry, so let's make those circles first. This one and this one. Okay, now let's add some dimensions. Looking at the top view, we can see the distance between the center point of the geometry and center point of the right hole should be 82 millimeter. The diameter of this right hole should be 12 millimeter. Distance between the center point of the geometry and the left hole should be 48 millimeter. The diameter of this hole, left one, is 8 millimeter. Also, looking at detail C, you can see that the radius of this circle is 9 millimeter, which means that the diameter should be 18. Also, the radius of this arc shape should be 18 millimeters, so this radius is 18. Now, we also need arc shape here on the right side and the left side. For these cases, I'm going to use a circle and then I'm going to trim that circle. So let's click on circle command, and then here I make second sets of circles. I know that the diameter of the right circle should be 24 millimeter. The diameter of the left one should be 16 millimeter. And now we need a line. Click on line command, and from the arc that we have, we just simply connect it to this outer circle. And same things for this side. Okay, now like always, when we have arc shape and we have a line, we need a tangency relations. So what I can do, I can click on the line, I hold control, I click on the arc, and from the options I choose tangent. I repeat this again. I click on the line, hold control, click on the arc, and from the options I choose tangent. Same things for the corners. I click on the line, I click on the circle, tangent. Click on the line, hold control, click on the circle, and tangent. Now, looking at the top view, it seems like that the line that we have from the right circle should be horizontal. So I click on line command, and then tangent to this circle, I make a horizontal line, and then I'm going to connect it to this side of the circle. Both sides we have a tangent relations, which means that we don't need to define that tangency again. Now, looking at the top view, you can see that the angle between this horizontal line and this line should be 18 degrees. So I click on the smart dimension, and this should be 18. Also, the angle between this line and horizontal line should be 22 degrees. So what I can do, because I don't have horizontal line here, I can simply click on the origin, and then from the arrows I'm going to choose left arrow, and this gives me the angle. This should be 22. looking at the top view, we also have 54-degree angle between this line and horizontal line. So what I can do, I can select these two, and this should be 54. Now you can see that the geometry is fully defined. Now all I need is a fillet in this corner. So remember, you had this option to make a circle and trim the circle, or you had the option to use arc. In this case, I decided to use a fillet. So instead of making that arc shape, I made these two lines, and now I'm going to use a fillet command to make the arc shape in this corner. According to the top view, the radius that we need is 42 millimeters. So from the options, I click on fillet command, and then I select this corner, and I'm going to change the radius to 42 millimeter. And now you can see that we have this curve shape. Awesome. So now, as you can see, we have the base of the geometry. The 2D sketch is ready, and we can extrude this sketch now. Looking at view B, we can see that the thickness we need is 8 millimeters. So what I can do, I can click on feature, first click on OK, click on feature, click on extrude boss, and then here I can select this side, rotate, and select this. And the thickness that we need should be 8 millimeter. Click on OK, and that's it. That's the base of the geometry. Okay, so now it's time to work on the two features that we have on this geometry. I want to first focus on the right feature. In order to make that feature, I need a plane. So the first step is to define that plane. After that, I can make a sketch on that plane. So in order to define a plane, I showed you in a previous video, we need two references. So here, I want to define those references. Let's click on the sketch, and choose top surface. Now, looking at detail C in this question, you can see that the distance between this feature and a center point or origin of the geometry is defined, and that distance is 34 millimeters. So what I can do, I can click on center line, and I'm gonna make something like this. Of course, I want this line to be parallel with this edge, so this is parallel, and the distance should be 34 millimeter. That's it. That's all I need. For the left feature, if you look at detail C, you can see that again, same thing. We need 34 millimeter distance. So I click on center line, and then here I make a line. This line and this edge, they should be parallel, and the length of the line should be 34 millimeter. Okay, so now we have these two lines, and we know where the plane should be placed. Just exit this sketch for now. Okay, so now because I want to focus on the right feature, I want to make a plane on the right side first. Click on feature. In order to make a plane, you can click on reference geometry, and amongst the options that we have here, you can simply choose plane. Now, as I mentioned, you need two references to make a plane. So the first one is clear, this point. We want the plane to pass through this point, so I select it. But as you can see, the plane is not oriented properly, right? So for the second reference, I select this line. And now you can see for the second line, we have a perpendicular relation, which is the correct relation that we need. And for the third one, I can select this surface, but you can see that we are over constraining the geometry. It's not actually needed, because when you have the point and you have the perpendicularity to this line, that should be enough to define a plane. So what I can do for the third reference, I can right click and I can delete this. So that's the plane I want. Click on OK, and that's it. Same as this plane, I make another plane on the other side. So click on reference geometry, choose plane, and then here I select the point as a first reference, and for the second one I select the line, and that should be enough. You can see that the geometry or the plane is fully defined, so we're good. Click on OK. Awesome. So now we have these two planes. First, let's hide this plane and only focus on this one. So I select this plane, and now I click on the sketch, and this plane is selected. Now all I need to do is to make a 2D sketch, and then after that I can extrude the geometry. Okay, in order to know the dimensions for the sketch for the right feature, you can focus on view AA. For view AA, you can see the dimensions that we need. First, we need a hole, right? So let's click on circle command, and then here I'm going to make a hole. According to view AA, the diameter of this hole should be 12 millimeters. So I click on the smart dimension, and this should be 12. We also need another circle surrounding this hole. So I click on circle command and I make another one. And the diameter of this circle should be 24 millimeters. So this is 24. Next, we need a straight line. We need to start from here and go up. And this line should be straight. We also need another line going from this side to here, and finally we close this geometry. Of course, this is not the ideal geometry because we want this line to be tangent to the circle. So what I can do, I can select this line, I hold Control, I select the outer circle, and from the options I'm going to choose tangent. Also, we know that the height of the hole from the bottom surface should be 48 millimeters. So I click on the smart dimension, I select the center point, I select the bottom surface, and this distance should be 48. And finally, the angle between this inclined line and the horizontal line should be 78 degrees. So I click on the smart dimension, I select this line, I select the horizontal line, and this should be 78 millimeters. Now you can see that the geometry is fully defined. So we are ready to use Extrude Boss feature to make it like a 3D model. So click on feature, click on Extrude Boss, and then here I'm going to select this contour, and we need to go to the right. The thickness that we need here, 6 millimeters. So I change 8 here to 6, and I click OK. Okay, so now we have this feature. That's all I wanted for the right side of the geometry. Now let's focus on the left feature. In order to do that, first let me hide this plane, and instead I'm gonna work on this plane. Okay, click on the plane, and then click on a sketch, and now I have this plane active. Same things. In order to make this 2D sketch, all we need to do is to follow view BB from the question. So in order to make this, first I'm going to focus on making the hole in the center of the geometry. So I click on circle command, and then here I make one hole, and the second one is the circle surrounding that hole. According to the question, the inner diameter should be 8 millimeters, and the outer one should be 16. Also, we need a horizontal line going here. Of course, this is not ideal, so I click on this line, hold Control, click on the circle, and I choose tangent. And I need this line to be vertical, so I click on it, and then from the options I'm going to choose vertical. And eventually we need to have some sort of inclined line, something like this, and then going to the right. Of course, we have tangent relations here, so we're good. And now it's time to add some more dimensions. The height of this feature, the height from the center point of the feature and the bottom to the bottom surface should be 46 millimeters. So I select this center point, I select this bottom surface, and this should be 46. The angle between this inclined line and the horizontal line should be 74 degrees. Okay? So now we added all the dimensions, but for some reason the geometry is not fully defined. Let's see why. So in order to check that, simply click on one point, and you can see that I can move this geometry. So the geometry is not fixed. So in order to fix this geometry, all we need to do is to add some sort of relations. And in order to do that, I can simply click on this point, hold Control, click on this point, and now I have 2 points selected. From the options, I'm going to choose coincident, and now you can see that the geometry is fully defined. Click on OK, click on feature, click on Extrude Boss, And now here I can select the contour. I select this contour and this contour. And the thickness we need should be 6 millimeters, so that's good. Click on OK, and that's it. Awesome. So now we have the features added to this geometry. And that's the final step. We model every single feature. Now it's time to check the total volume and make sure that the geometry is the final and the correct geometry. So let's go back to the question and check the total volume in the question. In the question, you can see the total volume shown here. The total volume is 54,372 cubic millimeters. Let's go back to our model and check the total volume for our model. In SolidWorks, in order to check the total volume, you can click on Evaluate and then click on Mass Properties. And in here, you can see the total volume. The total volume that we have is 54,372 cubic millimeters. If you round up this number, you're going to get exactly the same answer as shown in the question, which means that our model is correct and there's no problem with it. Okay, awesome. I think that's a wrap for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave comments down below. Thanks again for watching. My name is Rusbe. Hope to see you again soon in the next videos.